Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Scope. And now, here are your hosts, Jared, Adam, and Shane.
Hey guys, episode 195 in motion.
Hold on, I gotta preserve the illusion this is a different day.
Adam is preserving the illusion of playing Dice with Buddies.
You don't play Dice with Buddies in Landscape, do you? Can you? No,
I don't think you can. That's a good question.
Obviously, I'm not doing that.
Welcome to the internet's #1 Dice with Buddies podcast. I'm Jared, that's Shane, that's Adam. Adam, how are you rolling this week?
Why do you not bring that energy to the regular show? That's what we need.
That's not my character on that. I bring that out for the Shake.
Gotcha.
The Dice with Buddies podcast.
Like
the Sheik?
The Sheik.
That's Adam's spinoff. He's always doing spinoff shows of everything we do.
Different week, guys, see?
Jared's
wearing
got
something different.
Jared's got his Jedi hoodie on. Looks very Obi-Wan Kenobi in that.
Can't get it over my headphones.
It's difficult. Well, did you guys enjoy our last episode? It was what the kids were into.
Yep.
I feel like you should have a pack of smokes rolled up in that
Yeah.
on your sleeve, like your, what's his name?
Arthur Fonzarelli.
No, not him.
Snyder from One
There
Day
you
at a
go.
Time.
That's the guy.
He also wore the blue vest. The
I'm
denim
current
vest.
with my references.
Yeah, all the kids know who Schneider from One Day at a Time is. Well, last week we did what the kids were into. We covered Taylor Swift's album, 1989. This time around, we're doing something a little bit different. It's a theme, Jared. This time we're doing what we're into. So the kids might be into what we're into. Chances are they're probably not.
Kids are not into this.
But this is a chance for us to share our little pop culture taste of the moment right now. So I'm pretty excited about that. Adam did a lot of research for this, so he will be bringing his A game. Jared, you and I not
you
so
have time, Adam. You can think about something you're
I'm
into.
trying really hard.
Other than married life.
much. Yeah, give us something about married life.
No, it's not very fun.
It's not.
I'm already
How about riff tracks?
I don't watch those anymore.
Except last week when
Well,
you watched that bad movie.
Whatever.
You still on Hype Machine? Is that a thing?
Yeah, not really. I mean, it is still a thing, but I'm not into it anymore.
What
I
about-
like that you guys are helping me with this.
What about like some of the new unique flavors of Starburst candies?
Yeah. When they
No,
have, like, a
I'm definitely
tropical
not
pack?
into that.
No.
I just had one. Audrey got some in her Halloween candy. It was like a smoothie. But you know what? It
Interesting.
really just tasted like fruity candy.
Yeah.
Is there any sort of cable news program you're really into right now?
I mean, John Oliver, but we've talked about that before. We don't worry about it.
How about your newly discovered love of Malcolm in the Middle?
Who doesn't love a right-leaning Frankie Muniz?
Hey, good job, America, or whatever dumb shit he said.
What?
Frankie Muniz? He's like a big old conservative blowhard now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. You don't get the email?
No,
Hey,
I didn't get the email.
Hey.
he's on the mailing list. Put out a memo about it.
We took America back, didn't you hear?
Are you into taking America back? Is that your thing? Is that what
Yeah.
you're into?
Sure.
Okay. Just trying to help. It's got to be something.
There's
There's got to be a pop
right?
culture thing you're into.
How about
Don't. I mean, if
Mr.
you're thinking
Clean?
something,
No,
don't
I
yell it
know.
out.
I
Save it.
I think it might be Mr. Clean Magic Sponge. I mean, those things are very versatile.
Right, but I mean,
I was going to make a bathroom cleaning
how
reference,
many
thank you.
times can I use that as my thing I'm into? It's getting a little ridiculous.
Until it catches on, infinity times.
Okay.
How do you feel about scrubbing bubbles?
Okay, I have
Uh-oh,
one.
he's got an issue with scrubbing bubbles.
That's true.
You've got one?
Yeah.
Can we lock it in? Can we stop riffing and stretching out the show, as they say?
Sure.
He's good. Okay. So what the kids are into was last week. What we're into is this week. Let's take a break.
Well, right into the break.
Let's
Hang
take
on.
a-
Hold on. Hang on. Let me get my.
Come on, Jared,
Let me
stop.
get my fingers out to press
Get
the
your
button.
fingers. We'll take a break. Jared will push a button, and we'll come back with what we're into. 195 right after this.
This is The Fump.
And we're not a perfect match, but we should take what we can get. For me, that's you. I'll settle for you.
Some whispering poem was calling us home to a place we know never existed. Rich fantasy lives.
Little Fisher, it seems like years since you mowed the lawn. Here comes my son, do-do-do-do. Here comes my son, and I say, you're stupid.
That's the Funny Music Project at thefump.com. THEFUMP.com.
Everybody wants to be internet famous.
Welcome back
in
to
one sec.
T-shirt Talk here. Shane, we've been quizzing him about his beautiful white T-shirt.
It's
where
a
it comes
fact.
from. Oh, it's a what's the name of that athletic brand? Champion Athletic? What is this? What are you putting on?
I'm being insulted by Adam, so I'm putting it.
I called it the most dad thing to do, to just wear your T-shirt plain, and it is.
I never
You
do
pee
that.
with the door open,
I
too?
just did it because I didn't want to put on my sweater. Now I look good.
Why?
I'm
I
like
don't
the
understand
kids.
why you're getting so upset.
I don't know either.
There's a
Adam, what are
compliment.
you into? I'm going to burn you right away.
I think we recorded something with Tony in our session to cover this segment in the future, right? Like
Me?
what we're into. I think we did.
I think so.
I think so.
I
But we
wasn't
haven't
sure.
obviously whipped that up into a sounder yet. So
Do you guys do it?
Bumper.
Do your best Tony Partington impression. Go.
Oh, I can't even. I don't even want to go there.
All right.
I can't.
We'll start with Jared. Since just kidding, Adam, you do not need to start.
Oh, we're starting with me.
Yeah, we'll start with Jared. What are you into? We'll follow up with me, and then we'll let Adam be the cleanup hitter.
All right. So currently I'm into a couple of rock and roll albums.
Oh, my
A
goodness.
couple long players.
LPs, they say.
Yeah.
And Jared's get him on vinyl.
No, I'm actually listening to these on Spotify. I have not actually paid money for them, but you know what? I pay money for Spotify, so I am paying money for them. These two bands are linked.
Okay.
They are linked by a shared history.
Let's see if Adam can guess.
I think I already talked about them, didn't I?
Well,
No, Adam wasn't
Adam was
here.
not in the room. It's a quiz, Adam.
Is that the only hint?
They are linked by
That's it.
Lincoln Park.
yes. It is Linkin Park. No, and it's not Linkin Park. Sorry.
Okay.
I am talking about two bands from the 90s
Mhm.
who have released albums recently.
Rancid
Nope.
and
What is their link, Jared?
One member of one band was originally in the other band, but
What
then
kind-
left to start the second band.
What kind of music do they play?
is Pat Smear in a band?
Pat Smear is in Foo Fighters right now, currently.
Okay, so and the Jelly whatevers.
The Jelly Whatever is correct.
Got it.
Correct. Let me just, you got it right. Good job. No, it's not. I am talking about Weezer and the Rentals.
Ah.
Weezer.
They buried that hatchet, those guys?
No, they're not together again.
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
saying. So the Rentals was started by Matt Sharp, bassist originally of Weezer. He was
Mm-hmm.
on both the Blue Album and Pinkerton. And then he left to start his own band, The Rentals, which has sort of had a revolving door of personnel over the years and has been on a long hiatus. But we're not going to talk about them first. We're going to talk about Weezer first because Weezer is back on the rock and roll landscape with an album they are trying to position as sort of a return to their roots. Basically,
Are they positioning that, or is everybody else positioning it?
I
that
think
way?
they've so much as said that it's sort of we're getting back to basics, our
Okay.
rock and roll, the stuff you really want to hear.
Okay.
If they're not saying it overtly in words, they're saying it through the songs.
All right.
But the songs are actually very, very referential of that particular tone.
Excellent.
So I'm going to read a clip from the AV Club review of the album. This is Weezer's "Everything Will Be All Right in the End." Came out in early October. For fans who watched in dismay as Rivers Cuomo embraced his inner Carrot Top on 2008's indulgent Red album, I'm not even sure what that means. Thank you, reviewer, for putting references in. I don't
He
know.
did prop music? I don't really.
I don't know. And its pop culture addled follow-up, Ratitude. Cuomo wants you to know he's sorry. Back to the Shack, the lead single from Weezer's 9th album, Everything Will Be All Right in the End, opens with an overt apology to the audience he alienated with those pop experiments, and follows with a pledge to return to the band, to its mid-90s form. To underscore this commitment, the record even re-enlists Blue and Green album producer Rico Kasich of Cars fame. You guys know Rico Kasich?
Yeah.
My best friend's girl. Might have heard of it.
Whose talent can be found not just behind the boards, but also in his gift for keeping Cuomo's shtickier impulses in check. What's going on over there? I'm trying to read.
We're sort of doing, we're adding the multimedia presentation.
Got it. I'm doing a shtick. If that all sounds like fan service, it is, but at least it's damn effective fan service. From the monster riff opener, Ain't Got Nobody, to the Pinkerton-worthy Infatuation ode, Da Vinci, the band hasn't sounded this sharp in over a decade. Sharp, huh? Like, see how that's tying things together? Matt Sharp, bassist. Never mind.
I think Adam's having a pulmonary embolism right now.
Narm.
And
Darn.
while the record is first and foremost concerned with winning back the faithful, in its most abandoned free moments, everything forgets it's a return to Ritz album and takes some exciting leaps. A sweetly scrappy duet with Weezer.
What the hell?
I think the toilet's being
Is
flushed.
it the end of the world?
Nope. A sweetly scrappy duet with Weezer disciple Bethany Cosentino of Best Coast. You guys know Best Coast?
I do know Best
The
Coast.
song called Go Away feels like a first take gone right, while the album's closing stretch, a 3-song run dubbed the Futurescope Trilogy, recalls Songs from the
about
Black
us.
Hole, the power pop rock opera Cuomo abandoned in favor of Pinkerton. I'm going to play a couple clips for you. Again, if you're on YouTube, you're not going to hear these because
That's how we roll.
music rights can't do it. So this is the leadoff single, Back to the Shack. Here we go.
What does the shack represent, Jared?
It's sort of an allusion to, getting back to basics.
Gotcha.
The
Back
love
to,
shack.
Back to the garage.
Tin roof, baby.
Let's go back to where we started and try to crank out some of that lovable rock music that people wanted to hear.
Can I
back in the
say
90s.
something?
Go ahead.
I think it's bullshit that he has to apologize for music that he's done before. Maybe that's just what moved him and inspired him as an artist.
I agree. I don't.
It seems a bit
It is a
self-serving
little.
or like serving to the audience. Like, go along for the ride with him. He's not going to be the same band that he was in '94.
Right. So
That's what I think.
When I first heard this single before the album came out, I was a little wary because
Yeah.
I'm still to this, even after listening to the album and enjoying the album quite a bit. I still don't like the lyrical content of that song. I think
Yeah.
it's a little hokey.
Yeah, it's a little.
and strange, and I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it feels like a first draft
Sure.
a little bit, and it needed to be polished and streamlined. I don't know, but I do like the chunky guitar stacks. The guitar work is great. I love the pounding
stacked
drums.
guitars, Jared.
Yes, exactly. The production on the album overall, I really, really enjoy. And I think it really comes through all the Weezer elements that I like. The chunky harmonic guitars, the harmony voices come together in one of my favorite songs from the album, which is called Eulogy for a Rock Band. Now, I haven't done any research on this song to know what the actual viewpoint of the song is. I mean, it feels like it could be the band eulogizing another band that they liked in the past, or it could be they're putting themselves in the place of their fans saying, "Hey, here's the eulogy for you guys.
Yes.
Hang it up. We're done with you." So I think it's probably more the latter. But
Beyond that, it's just a catchy song. I kind of like that
It
song,
really is.
Adam.
It sounds a lot like the one from Mallrats that they did.
Yep. Oh, okay,
that.
Suzanne.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, and that's sort of indicative of what a lot of the stuff on the album sounds like. There's
Sure.
different. There are different things going on in different songs. I really like the 3-part closing suite that was mentioned in the review. I think 2 of the parts are mostly instrumental, which is really cool. But it's a lot of that chunky harmonized guitars that I don't know. I really, really enjoyed it on this album.
Okay.
So that is Weezer's "Everything Will Be All Right in the End." The second album I'm into is the Rentals, "Lost in Alphaville," which came out in August. The Rentals, as I said, this was Matt Sharp, who left the Weezer after 2 albums and started his own band.
Is he on good terms with Rivers right now?
I don't even know. I feel like that'd be a killer tour,
Let's
the
patch
2
it
of
up.
them together, but I'm not sure if the Rentals are touring given the lineup that actually records on this album. They had 2 albums in the 90s, Return of the Rentals and 7 More Minutes, 2 different sounding albums. Lost in Alphaville sort of returns a little bit more to their first album sound. To some extent, I'm going to read an excerpt from the review by Tim Sendra, which I got off of allmusic.com. The Rentals' third official album isn't as ambitious as the project that occupied Matt Sharp's life in 2009. That year was spent on the Songs About Time box set of films, photos, and music, including 3 EPs of songs about the passage of time and the mixed feelings that come with it. For the band's 2014 album, Lost in Alphaville, Sharp cherry-picked 10 songs from Time and re-recorded them in much more fleshed-out and powerful fashion, with contributions from longtime collaborator Laura Chipman, Ozma guitarist Ryan Sledger, which I was happy to see because I'm a big fan of Ozma, Black Keys drummer Patrick Carney shows up here, and Sharp's all-important female vocal foils Jessie Wolf and Holly Leisig of the group Lucius. I'm not familiar with that group. Wait, didn't you see them? No, I'm thinking of something else. Who opened for the Replacements? It wasn't a female group. Never mind.
No, it was no females in there.
Okay. Lost in Alphaville.
Sausage Party.
Yeah. Lost in Alphaville is a huge sounding modern indie rock album with a glossy sheen on the surface, but all kinds of heart beating just below. This guy is a little bit in love with the album, but
Yeah.
we'll go with it.
Get a room.
Carney's drums power things ahead like a locomotive. Sledger's guitar provide just the right amount of crunch, and Sharp's well-placed vintage synths are perfect candy coating on top. Through it all, Sharp's everyman vocals, thoughtful lyrics, and downcast personality ground things like he's a wistful indie rock Charlie Brown. Holding on tight to his melancholy as the world swirls around him. It's an act that never grows old, especially when he writes songs as fist-pumpingly rocked out as Traces of Our Tears. Here, I have a clip for you. Also, Thoughts of Sounds and 1,000 Seasons. So certainly more mature and thoughtful with no Friends of P in sight, but plenty of songs that sound like timeless hits and plenty of powerfully felt and delivered songs that hit hard right in the nostalgia zone. So says the review. I enjoy this album. I enjoyed the Rentals. The Rentals always felt like a band that nobody else knew about but me back in the 90s when I was listening to them.
Sure.
And I'm sure that wasn't the case because obviously there's, interest in this album too. But for me, I just enjoyed when I didn't even know that he was putting out another album until I came across a random post on Facebook in like July and said, "Hey, August, new album." I'm like, what? Okay.
Let's check it out.
I'm in. So I listened to it. I enjoyed it. Made me feel wistful and nostalgic for those mid to late 90s days of indie rock where I was spending a lot of time with music. So,
and now he's back. He's back to the shack, Adam.
There you go.
He's back.
The Rentals, Lost in Alphaville.
All right, it's my turn. I am taking on a book this week. The book I am picking is called Replay. It's by an author named Frank Grimwood. This 1986 novel, it's a science fiction novel, tells the story of 43-year-old Jeff Winston, who dies of a heart attack and is sort of living, prior to that death, he's sort of living a successful but not really fulfilling life. He's married without children, not really happy with his wife. Divorce maybe coming up. But instead of divorce, he dies at his desk of a heart attack. But instead of dying, he awakens back in 1963 in his 18-year-old body. He then begins to relive his life with memories intact. So he remembers everything that happened in his prior life of the previous 25 years. And this happens repeatedly with different event cycles in each life. So he would live his life till the age of 43, die, and then relive it again. And it's an interesting book because it actually predates Groundhog's Day. So a lot of people are like, oh, it's Groundhog Day.
86, huh?
Yeah. Wow. Groundhog's Day was 89, I think. So
there's no way to not know.
I like this idea, this concept of time travel. It immediately, as I'm reading this book, I start thinking about
93.
93?
That's when Groundhog Day came.
Wow, I thought maybe I'm thinking that it was the writing process started earlier than that. But whatever, it doesn't really matter. It predates it. But yeah, I'm reading this book and I'm thinking, how would I live my life if I had that opportunity? And in this, what he does immediately is he starts betting on sporting events to start making a lot of money. And then he starts to invest, at least in his first pass through, he starts investing in stock market and stuff like that, and how, just how different things are going to be. Obviously, he's not going to stay in college and live through all that weird stuff. And he tries to affect change in the world, like, maybe I interfere in the Kennedy assassination or whatever. But he sort of finds that as he starts going through his lives, that the world pretty much kind of stays the same. He's not trying to make drastic changes until later in the book when he bumps into something that's completely different, and it ties into, believe it or not, George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. I won't change anything more than that, or I won't give any way more than that. It's a really, really cool book. It's short, and he doesn't get into like the future. So the time travel stuff that he writes about would have been the stuff that he had lived in real life. So there's not speculation of internet and stuff like that. It's just between 1963 and 1986, and that's really cool. Now the author was working on a sequel to this book, but he died of a heart attack in 2003 while he was working on the book. So it never really saw the light of day. I don't know if it was far enough where somebody else could have picked it up or whatever. But the book has always been kind of in the eyes of Hollywood. Recently, Ben Affleck was attached to star as the main character, star and direct in this, but he took on the Batman role instead. So maybe he does that after Batman. And believe it or not, Robert Zemeckis, prior to Ben Affleck, was attached to this movie, which is kind of weird because he already did a time travel movie. But apparently he liked the idea enough to take on the time travel world and do something a little bit different. But it's a really good book. Check it out. I checked out from the library. I'm sort of in that reading a lot of books from the library stuff again. And this, for whatever reason, this was on a list of books that I had on my phone, that I have like a list of 50 books that I might read about or see, and I just put it in there and make notes on it. And I went back to it. I'm like, oh, I'm going to check this book out, and I did, and I'm really glad that I gave it the time. So,
do you recall where you originally heard about it?
You know what? I I think where I heard about it was I was reading a review for the Stephen King book about the
11/22/63.
Yes. So, and I think that someone made a comparison to this book, which they're kind of different. It's not quite the same, but they both do involve time travel and in that time period as well. But I'm sure that this book was referenced in one of the reviews, so I checked it out, and I like it as much as a Stephen King book, and this is a lot shorter and a lot different. So
this is the second time in a row you've used the book as what you're into.
Sure.
The last one was I'm gonna forget. Anyway,
That was the Console Wars.
yeah. Well, there were two.
I
There
did
were
two books that time.
Okay,
but
how are you consuming your book? You're really just you're actually borrowing it from the
I'm
library.
actually, yes, I am.
You're not like borrowing
Nope,
it.
I'm actually I have the physical book and I read it and I turn it back in and I go get another one. So the ebook stuff through the library is still kind of dicey. There's not a lot of coverage and they have to check those out like you would regular books.
Oh,
so yeah.
We have a Kindle at home, and I've seen that process.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is dumb.
It's easier just to get the paper.
I've done it.
The paper version overall. So there you go. Replay by Frank Grimwood. Well, for the books that I want, it's easier to get.
I've only done it once. And I
out
didn't
here.
finish the book in time, so it went away.
Frank Grimwood's Replay 1986. Give it a shot. You'll enjoy it. Adam, did
All
you
right.
come up with something you're into?
I did.
Okay, don't feel like you got to stress yourself out about
Okay,
it.
Hey, it's this. I'm not stressed. Don't worry about me. I selected. It's kind of a weird one, but I selected smart wrestling podcasts
Okay.
as what I'm into right now.
What? Like, is this
please, tell us
Greco-Roman
more.
style
Tell
or
us more.
TV style?
No. Smart wrestling podcasts, as in they're still just talking about WWF wrestling, but they are fans that know how bad and dumb it is.
It's
but
a soap opera.
but still get some enjoyment out of it.
You know what? Your last podcast recommendation I have subscribed to and enjoy quite a bit.
Which one was that?
That was the Cracked podcast.
Yes, I like that one.
I don't feel like I'm going to get the same
Yeah,
same reward from this one.
Probably
But go ahead.
not. So there's two that I've been listening to quite a bit. One's weekly, and that's called Cheap Heat. It's with two guys in the New York area. One is an actual radio DJ, Rosenberg, forgetting his first name. He's on Hot 96.
Hot 96.
Hot 96.
Ooh.
And the other one
Getting to the countdown.
Two for Tuesdays.
goes by The Masked Man.
You know the phrase that pays.
He's a contributor to Grantland. He has a weekly wrestling blog, whatever, on Grantland.
Column? Do they call him a column?
Sure.
Sure, let's say column.
And he has he has a kind of a history of wrestling book that actually got well reviewed last year, and the paperback comes out this week. So I may pick that up.
Okay.
Just because wrestling is just one of those weird things where it's super dumb.
But yet it's super popular.
Yeah,
It
and
has been
fun
for
about it.
decades.
Yeah, and as a kid, I really liked it.
Yeah.
And now as an adult, with the WWE's network thing, you can go back and watch the Royal Rumble from 1991 and see how dumb it really was.
Sure. But you loved it then.
And there's still some weird affection for it.
Soft spot in your heart is what you're saying.
Yeah. So I like their podcast. They talk about how terrible things are all the time. One of them is always basically playing the heel role, the bad guy, as in wrestling parlance. One of them is always playing the face, the good guy. And they switch off and on. They will interview wrestlers every now and then, but it's mostly just them kind of talking about what's been going on the past week. And I don't know. It's just it's enjoyable, and it's a way for me to get my wrestling intake with not actually watching the shows, because WWE has two weekly shows. One of them's on Sci-Fi, and the other one's on USA. The USA one's the Monday night one that is more popular. It's 3 hours long.
Oh.
That's an investment of time.
Wow.
It's it's ridiculous.
No, thank you.
And so I can't do that. Sometimes I will, if I'm doing work, I will, like at home, I will put it open. I will open it in a screen on my computer and like play it at double speed and like half pay attention to it. The best way to consume wrestling, not really pay attention to it, or like have it on the iPad while you are playing video games.
Perfect.
Yep.
So how do you usually consume podcasts? Like in what phase of your day?
In the car.
In the car, exclusively in the car.
I try not to as I am working because I feel like I miss too much. It's why I can't listen to Stern because it's too long. It's daily, and I can't retain any of it.
Sure.
Yeah, I have some shows that I'm okay with listening while I work, and I don't mind if I miss details.
Yeah.
Stern actually fits into that a lot of the time. I
Sometimes-
get a lot of it, but I don't get everything. And then there's some where it's like, this is car listening. I need to hear this.
There's times where like if Mandy's got a thing going on, so she's going to a work dinner thing or something, and so I'm just gonna I could make my own food at home. I will instead like go to Jimmy John's and eat in the car so that I can continue listening.
Wow.
You could listen to the podcast at home.
It's weird. I don't know. That's my
Put it on the surround sound.
preferred way of doing it.
Fired up on the Sonos, your multi-zone listening experience.
So the other podcast real quick is Giant Bomb is a video game podcast that I really like. They're
You've been listening to it for years.
Yes. You're
loyal, you might say.
Yeah. They put on a maybe monthly, a little even less frequently than that, one where, even though they're video game dudes, they all kind of found out, we all also embarrassingly like wrestling. So let's do a wrestling podcast every now and then when we get around to it. And they call it the Power Bomb Cast. The Power Bomb being a wrestling move. And I like that a lot too. And I
do one called the Figure 4 Leg Cast.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
That's the follow up from your usual podcast, just called the Leg Cast.
Yes,
where it's actually about that time you broke your leg, and all the people that signed it, you have like different stories from each one of them.
Each one has a tale. I weave it intricately. There's some sound effects, some music production, but mostly it's just me talking.
Yeah. So one of my favorite things about the Power Bomb Cast is they do these assignments at the end where they say, "All right, everyone that listens, you all have the WWE Network because you're all terrible people like all of us. Here is a bad pay-per-view from 1999. Watch it, and next month we'll review it and talk about how terrible it was."
Yes.
So it's kind of like How Did This Get Made? Paul Scheer podcast that I really like, but in wrestling form. So
Perfect.
I like that too.
Way to go, Adam. He stepped up. He was nervous. He didn't know what he's going to talk about, and then he hits us with two things.
So Cheap Heat and the Power Bomb Cast. Power Bomb Cast only available to premium members of the Giant Bomb Cast.
So step up if you want to listen to that.
Yeah.
Well, Jared, Adam, great selections. To our listeners out there, check out all these things. They're good. We wouldn't recommend if they weren't.
Absolutely.
We'll take a quick break. Let's get on with the end of the show right after this.
We now join the scope already in progress.
Under the scope.
Adam Sitnick, it's Under the Scope. Coming soon.
He's Canyonero on Twitter, but he's Adam in our hearts.
He will always be Adam in our hearts.
Back when I used to play Counter-Strike a lot, Counter-Strike lets you do like a spray paint move.
Yeah.
And I got the Canyonero screen cap from The Simpsons, and that
So
was
you could
mine.
load this in, and then you do a spray paint, and it would spray that out.
paint it on the wall.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's cool.
What's coming soon?
All right, music. This is for the week of November 23rd through November 29th. Black Friday, right in there.
Right?
You guys doing any Black
Thanksgiving?
Friday camping outs?
Not camping
I don't
out.
camp out.
I didn't go last year. I got just about everything I needed online ahead of time.
On the internet.
Using, did you go through thescopeshow.com/Amazon to do that shopping?
I don't think you could at that point,
No,
right?
but you can this year.
I will do that if I could.
I went there on the evening of Friday because I wanted to get cheap Game of Thrones on Blu-ray sets, and I'm hoping to do that again this year.
Cool.
Because I
And
could
it
use.
worked
Where'd you go? Best Buy?
Yeah.
And it wasn't too bad at night?
No.
No one's there anymore.
No one was there. Everyone had
Everything's-
done their shopping
Everything's
earlier,
picked hour.
and there were plenty of copies of Game of Thrones on Blu-ray.
I have a Costco subscription membership for the first time this year, and their ad has some interesting stuff.
Some good deals on Xbox One. Go ahead.
All right, music. We've got Ollie Murs. That's a UK X Factor contestant.
Okay.
It's a
Forget
guy.
it.
It's a guy's
MERS, is
name.
that like the Middle Eastern Respiratory Syndrome?
Uh-huh. Yep.
May I bring back a bit?
Okay.
No.
Okay. No, you may not bring this.
Okay.
I have not isolated it.
REM has a DVD box set coming out, so kind of music. REM TV is what it's called. I think it's like a 5 or 6 DVD box set of
Why
all
is it
their
called TV?
REM TV. MTV is how it, it's like REM leads into MTV. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see. Rick Ross, producer extraordinaire, has an album coming out. This is my favorite album title of the week. Hood Billionaire. Just like that. Selena Gomez. She's a lady.
She is a name like Selena. You would hope so.
Yeah. Let's see. Shady 15. This is 15 different artists from the Shady Records label. They have a compilation coming out. Not much coming out, guys.
No.
No, everything was last week.
Yeah. And Kevin Max, one of the members of DC Talk, has a solo up coming out.
God almighty. How did that not be our hit it?
Sorry. No, this is all on Jared.
I like to
Movies. We've got Horrible Bosses 2. Oh, so some of these are the Wednesday releases.
Sure,
right?
sure.
Right
Gotta get
before
in
Thanksgiving.
before the Thanksgiving holiday. When you want to
Exactly.
get away from your family, go see a movie, Horrible Bosses 2, in theaters.
Horrible Bosses 2. I liked Horrible Bosses 1.
Never saw
It was good.
I hope that this is okay. Penguins of Madagascar.
Were they appropriately horrible?
They were pretty horrible.
Those penguins are terrible.
Penguins of Madagascar. This has the voice work of Benedict Cumberbatch, newly engaged. Benedict Cumberbatch. John Malkovich.
Still not confirmed to be Doctor Strange, although maybe by this time this episode comes out.
It might be. Might be confirmed.
Ken Jeong.
Okay.
All those people. And then a bunch of people I don't know. Tom McGrath. John DiMaggio. I don't know. Those are probably
John DiMaggio is a very well-known voice artist.
artist, okay.
Yeah, he does a lot of cartoon voices.
Let's see. We've got Before I Disappear. I think that's a smaller release. Paddington the Bear
Mhm.
has a movie coming out.
Great.
A young bear originally from Peru. I'm not going to read this. Never mind. Home video. We've got the releases of The Giver.
Would that include video on demand?
No.
Dang
Beyond the Edge. I don't know what that is.
I don't know that
What
either.
If?
What if?
The Expendables 3.
Saw that?
Step Up, all in.
Not.
A Medea Christmas.
No.
Oh, boy.
Merry friggin' Christmas.
Boy, it's all about kids' movies and Christmas movies, isn't
We're
it?
there. We are there, guys.
Finally, video games. And all the video games came out the last 2 weeks. So we've got
this is it.
Geometry Wars 3 for all the systems. Geometry Wars is good
Mhm.
good downloadable game. So I'm excited for that. $15, I think.
I don't think there's any new games coming out pretty much after this prior week.
It typically everything
They-
comes out before Black Friday, and then weird things like Nintendo will always have a big thing in December.
You
Far
did-
Cry 3 came out in December,
Yeah.
so it
Maybe.
happens.
You didn't talk about the little Nintendo action figures that are coming out. as well.
Amiibos.
Mhm.
I did not. I know that I get 10% off with my. I don't have a Wii U. Why would I talk about it?
Oh, true enough.
Moving on.
All right. And then some other, I don't know, Penguins of Madagascar as a video game tie-in, Persona Q, weirdos like Persona games, and Raven's Cry. I don't know what that is. So basically nothing for video games.
But there is one other thing.
There is.
Hit it or miss it. Hit of the week. Hit it or miss it. Miss of the week. Look out!
Jared was kind enough to swap weeks with me, so he's taking over the hit it or miss it for this week.
What a sap.
Well,
I know.
you like video games more, so
Thank
I figured I'd let you pick the best one.
You're a gentleman.
This time I am picking a miss. This is a miss on home video release. It is The November Man. This film came out in August. It starred Pierce Brosnan as the November Man. I had a bunch of other people. Shane and I saw it,
Mhm.
and we didn't think much of it.
We didn't.
No, it was bad. Bad plot, really, really cheesy scenarios. There's no need to buy it, much less really even watch it on any of your streaming services once it makes it to that point.
Yep.
You can safely miss The November Man for the remainder of your life.
Miss it. Don't wait till December.
Wow.
Under the scope.
Wow. Jared, you get to talk, and then you get to talk again.
I do.
Go for it.
We have a comment on this is related to our interview with Lesser Knowns, the band we had on a few episodes ago from Massachusetts area. Adam commented, he says, I would like to participate in your questionnaire.
Okay.
And he gives you some answers. Question number 1, your first crush song.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I Love a Rainy Night by Eddie Rabbit.
Interesting.
It's a good crush song.
Sure.
First album you bought with your own money. Luke Ski will appreciate this. In 3D by Weird Al Yankovic. I never bought that album. First Weird Al album I bought with my own money was Dare to Be Stupid. So it'll always be my favorite.
No one can ever top it.
Question 3, the album others might not expect me to love. Stripped by Christina Aguilera or Xtina. I'm not really up on her oeuvre. I only know some of the hits.
Yes.
So I'll just have to trust you, Adam, that you, other Adam off in the ether.
Yes.
Yeah, trust
Adam.
him. Trust him.
Fourth question and final question, the song that makes you cry, Johnsburg, Illinois by Tom Waits. Familiar with the song? Neither am I. I'm not interested in crying much, so I probably won't check it out.
You're a man's man.
I am a man's man. Thank you for writing in, Adam. If you have any comments you'd like to share with the show, you can email us at comments@thescopeshow.com. Call the voicemail line at 612-21-SCOPE. That is 612-217-2673. Or reach out to us on the interwebs through all the various social media outlets that we are on: Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube. All those links on our website at thescopeshow.com. Now, if you'd like to support the show directly, if you want to help pay for the phone bills that these two are racking up because they're on their IA devices the entire time. They're
Just
ready to
checking
go
out some
home. They
weather.
want me to wrap up the show, but I
Checking out
just
some weather.
checking out the weather in the past. Amazing.
Past weather. Why do I do that? I don't know.
You can go to patreon.com/The Scope Show, and you can directly support content creators like us. Pledge as little as $1 an episode.
Yes.
Set a monthly cap. Cancel anytime. But why would you? Because our programming is that good.
Yeah.
You will never cancel.
And
you
don't
will
set a
lock
cap.
in for $1 an episode or more.
Or $1 million
And you
an
will
episode.
$1 million an episode. Do we have $2 million an episode?
I challenge someone for $1 million an episode.
We need some sort of high
We should
spending
on Shark
benefactor.
No.
We should.
Who?
Shark Tank.
Let's Shark Tank this bitch.
Mark Cuban could give us $1 million.
I'm sure he would do that.
Sometimes you support the arts. That's it.
Anyway,
That's your pitch.
Patreon.com/The Scope Show if you'd like to do that. Otherwise, another way you can support us is Black Friday is here. Shopping is upon us. You are obligated to buy gifts for people, and what better way to support us than by buying stuff? Go to thescopeshow.com/Amazon. Click the referral link. A small part of your purchase goes to us. Doesn't cost you anything else. And we can afford to put Christmas goose on our table this year.
Thank God. We all need that Christmas goose.
Shane, back to you.
Wow, Jared. You said a mouthful. Adam,
Yeah,
Jared,
hi.
it's been a long recording session, so let's just cut out the middleman.
There's a middleman?
Well, maybe.
Are we doing direct pricing to consumers?
I think we are.
All
Adam's
right.
out. So for Adam, Jared, I am Shane. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next time with more Scope. Bye for now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we find ourselves once again at the end. I hope you've enjoyed our time together. I know I have. Fear not, Scope faithful. Days shall pass as if they were but a moment, and Jared, Adam, and Shane will return with another thrilling episode. Until then, send your comments to comments@thescopeshow.com or leave a voicemail message by dialing
612-21-SCOPE. That's 612-217-2673.
Thanks for listening, faithful fans. This is Tony Partington saying hasta mañana. Tune in next time to another terrific edition of The Scope.